that old saying that stands to, it's like less is more, and let the ingredients sing, and that seems to be pretty universal. And I think we're getting better at it now in Western cultures, but it's it's like let's stop trying to do so much to the incredible ingredients and just try and let them sing.
This is the Deep in the Weeds podcast. I'm Anthony Huckstep. The summer series continues on Deep in the Weeds, and we're heading north to Queensland to catch up with Chef Andy Hearnden. Andy, how are you?
I'm really well, thanks, mate. How are you?
I'm good. 2023 is done and dusted. How was the year for you?
Huge, in one word. Yeah, it was a big year, but really exciting times.
Well, how has life changed in that for you?
This year has been a massive year of travel for us. So we've got to film lots of YouTube episodes all around the world, which is it's incredible to be in a position to do that again, and for so many reasons. So that the business is doing well, that we can do it, and the fact that the world's open again, which is lovely.
We've had you on the show before and talked about your long professional career, but do you seeing food a bit differently given the direction you've gone in now?
Yeah, I definitely am. I'm definitely far more comfortable in my, in my culinary skin, I guess you could call it. And I've got a new kind of rule that I won't go to any restaurant unless I can wear a T-shirt into it.
Yeah, I love that rule. That's my rule as well. I don't think I have a collared shirt.
No.
Well, you mentioned you've been doing a lot of traveling. Do you have a couple of travel food stories for us you can share?
Yeah. Well, there's a few that stand out. The first one was we were in Vietnam, in Ho Chi Minh City, and we were there with a guy called Calvin, who's like an American Vietnamese, food kind of personality as well. And we were just kind of on one of the streets, and I think we were in the third district. And some guy kind of ran out of this restaurant and knew him pretty well. And it was I'm gonna butcher this pronunciation, but I'm going to attempt it. Bun Chinh Nhung, I think it's pronounced. A restaurant. It's all they served, and it's effectively a dish of cold rice noodles, really delicious fish sauce, lots of really vibrant fresh herbs, and really freshly grilled pork. I think it's from the south, that dish, and it was one of those unexpected food moments where we sat down to this meal, and the host was incredible and super engaging, and the food was just like 10 out of 10 delicious. And I think it took me and the whole crew by surprise at just how simple and delicious this food was. And it was all the components were incredible, but the fish sauce that they had, and it just came out this big barrel they had at the back, was incredibly mild, sweet almost, delicious umami, and it had like a little bit of hint of chili in there too, and it was one of those meals that you kind of stand up from and just you'll just thank your blessings that you got to eat there. And it was really kind of opportunist too. Like Calvin was trying to walk us away from it. I could see this guy was like he knew what he was talking about. He was incredibly passionate. And I was like, "We've got to eat here, Calvin." He's like, "Oh, it's not on the agenda." I was like, "I don't care. We're eating here." And it blew my mind.
Amazing. Has there been any other trips that you've been on that have sort of changed your thinking in food like that?
Yeah, I think the other thing that comes to mind was in the Philippines. And I think the food, I love Southeast Asian food, but the food in the Philippines is very different to the rest of Southeast Asia, largely from the Spanish and the Mexican influence. And there's a bit of Indian influence in there too, but we were in a restaurant called Cantina de Tita A, and it was a small kind of mum and dad run restaurant that was, I think the father was actually the local doctor, but they were kind of there to keep the culture and the local food alive, which was an incredibly special place to be. And they said we were there filming a video at adobo, so we obviously ate the adobo and it was absolutely delicious. But they brought out a dish called keri keri, which is like kind of like a peanut curry, but not super spicy, and it was with lots of different types of meat and tripe and all kinds of things, and it was just an absolute standout. And the passion that came through, from this family about their local food and keeping it alive was like second to none. You just, it's just so refreshing to see that passion in food sometimes, which I think we kind of lose sometimes here in Australia.
Yeah, you cut your teeth and had a career in hospitality and sort of earned all your stripes in that, but your exploration into food is different these days, and we see you on YouTube, but you're delving into so many different cuisines. Have you learnt more in the last couple of years compared to your professional career?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's that old saying that stands true. It's like less is more. And let the ingredients sing, and that seems to be pretty universal. And I think we're getting better at it now in Western cultures. But it's it's like let's stop trying to do so much to the incredible ingredients and just try and let them sing.
What do you love about summer? You grew up in New Zealand and you're in Australia now. It's we do like the hot weather in the Antipodes, but what do you love about summer?
Outdoor cooking for me is what kind of really kind of brings summer home. And kind of recently, the start of COVID when I lost my job and we moved up here to the Sunshine Coast, there was 3 couples and we were all kind of out of work, and we thought, well, let's just take 6 months and enjoy ourselves. And incredibly privileged to do so, but we pretty much went camping every 2 to 3 weeks, and we would just figure out how to cook delicious food over open fire, and we would theme each night. So it might be Korean one night, and then it would get broken down into protein, carb, and the salad, and one couple would take each component. And I think that's some of the best cooking I've ever eaten, and it was always done over open fire. But just in these, we were in Fraser Island in September 21 and September 2020, and there was no one there. Right, like you go to Fraser Island and it's just covered in tourists, and there was literally no one there. We were in one camp spot for 48 hours. We didn't see another human soul. So just sitting watching sunsets, eating delicious food that we've all bought, had some part to play in. That was pretty special, and I kind of, I just love that kind of outdoor cooking and barbecues, and that's just screams summer to me.
Yeah, me too. Is there an ingredient from summer that really stands out for you, and how do you like to use it?
Yeah, it's always lamb for me, being a Kiwi, and it's true to what I was just saying. It's to keep it simple, like just grilled lamb with some salt. I'm a purist. I don't like putting pepper when I grill meat. I just like salt, and then maybe just using some really good quality olive oil and a bit of aromats underneath, or some rosemary and some garlic rubbed over it. But yeah, just like really good, high quality spring lamb grilled over open fire. Can't go wrong.
You travel quite a bit, as you mentioned. What are you loving about food at the moment, and what would you like to see over the next year?
You know what I'm loving? I'm loving Sydney's food scene right now. I'm spending a lot of time there at the moment, and it's really come of age, especially post-COVID. When I first moved to Australia from London over 10 years ago, I moved to Sydney, and I didn't even last a year. I kind of wasn't in love with the city, so I moved to Melbourne. And now maybe it's because I'm only ever there for 3 or 4 days, or 2 or 3 days even. But and I guess kind of I guess I have a bit of a following, so people may know who I am. But the food scene is just blowing me away in Sydney, and I have yet to have a bad meal there in a while. And the food community is kind of so friendly and open and welcoming. And I didn't think I'd ever say that about that city, because it was a bit of a love-hate relationship, but it's definitely turned.
Oh, it's good that they've changed your opinion. Yeah. As you mentioned at the top of the show, you had a ripping 2023. What are the plans for the next year?
Pretty much more of the same. We'll focus back in on our long form content, so our YouTube longer videos, and kind of diving into some the recipe based content, and just trying to keep inspire people to cook better food at home. I don't think we'll do quite as much travel next year. I think it'll be nice to be a bit more based here, but we will spend a bit more time in the US. Just because of lots of other creators that we like to work with over there, and other brands. So yeah, pretty much more of the same, focusing on long format content, and just cook and discover more delicious food.
Amazing, Andy. Always a pleasure to catch up. Have a cracking year ahead, and we'll have to catch up again soon.
You too, mate.
This is the Deep in the Weeds podcast. I'm Anthony Huckstep. Stay tuned as we take a deep dive into the lives of the incredible people who ply their trade in the food and hospitality sector. Special thanks to executive producer Rob Locke for making this all happen. Follow us on Instagram at Deep in the Weeds Podcast, or email us at podcast@deepintheweeds.com.au. Stay safe and be well.